Hi everyone. If you like the way I teach and want me to be your teacher, the link to my engineering fundamental school is in the description below. Enjoy the video. In this video, we'll be introducing the second moment of area, also known as the moment of inertia, where Ix is the moment of inertia about the x-axis. Some of you may be thinking that the moment of area sounds familiar, and if so, that's because we just discussed the first moment of area, Q, which is very similar to the second moment of area. If you need a review of the first moment of area, please refer to my statically equivalent systems video or my intuitively finding centroids video. If we write down what the first moment of area is, the integral of y dA, and we take an additional moment, that will produce the second moment of area, or the y squared dA term. Some of you may be wondering, why do we use y distances for the x moment of area? That's because if we were taking a moment about the x-axis, we'd be using y distances. If we were taking a moment about the y-axis, we'd be using x distances, which is why Iy is using x distances. There is one more moment of inertia called the polar moment of inertia, J. It uses radial distances. And if we break down the definition, we can see that it's the sum of Ix and Iy. Again, the J term is called the polar moment of inertia, while Ix and Iy are called the area moment of inertia, or the second moment of area. Just as we have centroid tables to avoid that integral of y dA term, we don't want to be doing double integrals all the time, we also have moment of inertia tables. Shown here is the centroid and moment of inertia table for a rectangular cross-section. As you can imagine, there's actually infinitely many x-axes that are parallel to the shown centroidal x-axis. We don't want to be writing down an infinite amount of equations. So someone smart came up with this idea of the parallel axis theorem, which allows a relationship between the centroidal x-axis, which is horizontal, and any other x-axis at a distance d away. Ix prime would be the moment of inertia about any parallel x-axis. Ixc is about the centroidal x-axis. A is the cross-sectional area, and d is the distance between the two parallel axes. We can also show the centroid and moment of inertia of this triangle here. If we wanted to prove the parallel axis term, what we could do is start with an arbitrary area. We can place a centroidal coordinate system along with a x prime and y prime coordinate system spaced at a distance d. If we wanted to find Ix prime, we'd go ahead and find the integral of y prime squared dA, where y prime is the distance between any differential area and the x prime axis. If we wanted to find a relationship between the primed coordinate system and the centroidal coordinate system, all we would do is think about the coordinate axis offset. The coordinate axis is offset by a distance d, which means all the y coordinates are offset, whether that's plus or minus a distance d. I incorrectly put minus here. It should be plus, but regardless, that term is going to go to 0 as you'll see later, so it's irrelevant. We get three separate terms to make up Ix prime. The integral of y squared dA, well, that's just the moment of inertia about the x centroidal axis. The second term, the integral of y dA. If you watched my video on what the value of q is, or the integral of y dA is, at the centroid, you would know that we balance moment of areas, which means that the sum is 0. Another way to look at this is that the left-hand side of the equation is equal to 0 because y bar in terms of the centroidal coordinate system would be equal to 0. And the last term, we have the integral of dA, If we sum up all the areas, we would get a total area A, so AD squared. Let's go ahead and do our first example, where what we're going to do is try to calculate the moment of inertia about the x-axis, or the x prime axis, an arbitrary axis shown in the parallel axis theorem, knowing the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis for a rectangular shape. What we know is that for a rectangular shape, the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis is equal to bh cubed divided by 12. If we know the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis and the area of the shape, which is base times height, along with the distance between the two parallel axes squared, what is the distance? The distance is half of the height of the rectangle. If we add up all those terms, we get bh cubed over 3, which is exactly what's shown in the table. Let's go ahead and move on to a second example where we try to find IXC and IYC of this shape. What is the thought process that we have to go through in order to find IXC and IYC for this shape? Well, we have to know where the centroid is, meaning that we have to find the centroid, the y coordinate of the centroid. We know the x coordinate is going to be in the middle because of symmetry. The moment of areas is exactly the same about the y-axis. About the x-axis, again, we can say the moment produced by these two areas combined is exactly equal to the total area placed at a special distance, y bar away. Using this equation, we can find the y bar as 8 inches. We can also split this shape up into two pieces. What we can do is use the parallel axis theorem to find the moment of inertia about these individual shapes and translate that moment of inertia to the centroid of the overall shape. The first and the second shape have their own centroid. So let's look at the distance d between these parallel axes and the axis of the overall shape. D1 is shown here and D2 is shown here. They're both 3 inches. And we've already calculated the moment of inertia about the centroidal x-axis for the first shape and the moment of inertia about the centroidal axis for the second shape about their own centroid, which is just base times height cubed over 12. If we add all these terms up, noting that the area times distance squared is the same for both of those terms, we end up with the answer, which is around 530 inches to the fourth. What about IYC? If we look at IYC, what we'll notice is that all of the y-axis of the shapes are aligned, marked by those x's. That means that there is no parallel axis theorem to take into account. All we do is sum the moment of inertia of each shape. This one is height times base cubed over 12 plus height times base cubed over 12. If we add those up, what we end up getting is around 170 inches to the fourth. I hope this video helped you to understand the concept of moment of inertia and the critically important idea of the parallel axis theorem. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, as it helps me out a lot. Keep learning and keep working hard. Goodbye.